move on to the East, and a team we've talked about on here a lot is the Boston Celtics, right? They are 5-1 when Tatum has returned or has played. And the only one loss that they have is when Jaylen Brown got kicked out of that game, right? So when Tatum's played, they lost another game. That was when Tatum did not play. What do you think of Boston? And are you still feeling the same way you felt kind of when Tatum came back?
Yeah, I mean, they've obviously they lost like their two, if you will, tough games at San Antonio, OKC, back-to-backs. Those are not back-to-back nights, but two games in a row. So that's obviously as tough as you can get. And as you mentioned, I think Tatum missed one of those. And so, they're beating up on the likes of Washington, undermanned Phoenix team, Golden State. And so I'm not really taking away much from those games, but what it is it's giving Jayson Tatum extra time. It's giving him minutes. It's letting him get reacclimated with the kind of new faces. Because, remember, this is like a pretty different team than they had last year. Sure, Jaylen Brown and Tatum have been a tandem for some time now. But that's something to kind of think about too. But I still, I think like maybe on the West Coast, we don't hear much, but it just seems like it's just so quiet right now about like what's going on in the East, and everything's so loud when it comes to the Lakers. Like everything they do is like so magnified, and I'm sure probably in the East Coast, Boston is too. But my point is that Boston is just kind of flying under the radar. I think they're going to be the favorites going into the playoffs. I'm very interested to see if the Knicks and the Celtics match up again. It looks like they would perhaps do that in the second round again. I still think that's the one team that could give them fits because they beat them last year, obviously. Other than that, I see Boston not having a tough challenge other than against the Knicks. But yeah, I mean, if I had to take my money, Boston or the field in the East, I would probably take Boston.
Man, it's tough to. I don't know if they're ready to do that, right? Like I feel like Cade, they're a great team, but I don't feel like they have a number two, like the way Boston will now have Tatum as their number two, right? Like Jaylen Brown still had 32 tonight, right? So he is leading this team, and I think he's going to be leading this team for the foreseeable future in playoffs. And this is a guy that won MVP of the finals as well, even when Tatum was completely healthy, right? So he's capable of being the 1A to Tatum being the 1B right now, right?
Absolutely.
I just don't think Detroit has that. And like you said, the Knicks are the Knicks, and they can give them some trouble, but I haven't really fully bought into the Mike Brown being a coach that will get you to the finals yet. I like the guy. I have mad respect for him, but I'm not sure if he's making the necessary adjustments in a 7-game series that gets you to the finals.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, no, I could see that. That's definitely one factor that's different than last year is the coaching. Detroit, as you said, just needing that second score. Cleveland is like the wild card, still. They started off really hot when they got James Harden. Now that they've kind of come back down to earth. I know they've had injuries, like people have been in and out of the lineup. So I think they would be a potential like tough out. Maybe I could see a Cleveland Boston Eastern Finals or something like that.
I mean, there's some teams that are good. Maybe the Atlanta Hawks could give them a little bit of run for their money too. I'm just kidding. They won 11 in a row, right? So you gotta.
They get that 17 maybe.
Yeah, wasn't that crazy? You said they've won 10 in a row and they haven't moved one position in the play.
I'm like, wait, well, because if you think about it, like I feel like Charlotte has just been balling, and they're the 10th seed flat out.
They're still the 10th seed, yeah. So there's some decent teams in the East, right? I think it's going to be an interesting playoffs. I think if like a Charlotte gets the 8 and Atlanta gets the 7. I think that's going to be fun, right? I think Atlanta and Boston will be an interesting series. I think Charlotte will give Detroit a run for their money a little bit. Like, I don't think it's going to be a 4 or 5 game series. I think that would be more of a 6-7 game series, making it a lot harder for Detroit to win that.
Yeah, I mean, as far as a fan with no interest, I think that would be kind of fun to see those matchups, like two up and coming young teams against. I mean, Detroit's young as well, but kind of like obviously top tier teams, Detroit and Boston. But yeah, kind of going back to the Celtics, they're just flying under the radar. Tatum's getting some minutes and some play under his belt, and I think they'll definitely be the favorites. But because he came back from the injury, I truly, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think he probably won't be like at a Tatum level probably until next season, I think.
Sure. Yeah.
And that might make the difference in a series or against a particular team. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a factor, right? And like you still have to work him into the lineup, and we don't know what that looks like yet in a 7-game series. Yep. But we do know one thing that Boston does well, and is play defense. Yeah. And so they're a top 3 defensive team, and that's going to take them far in general, right? So I think just the icing on the cake is you're adding Tatum, and that's going to help the team so much.
Yep, absolutely. They're going to be probably one of the favorites without Tatum, and with them, they certainly are.